Hi, listeners. Fair warning. Today's episode, while fun, will have scenes of death, blood, and gore. If you are around small children, please wear headphones. Listener discretion is advised. Welcome to Story Sirens, the podcast where we discuss our favorite myths and legends from around the world. Today, we are starting a brand new series.
That's right. As summer comes into full swing, we get to enjoy warm days, long nights, and the sweet yet sticky floor AC of movie theaters. Summertime is blockbuster time, y'all. So during the month of July, we will be focusing on legendary movies. And just yesterday, July 2nd, was the premiere of the 7th installment in a very, very popular franchise. If you are a dinosaur lover like me and my nephew,
And me as well.
then you know Jurassic World Rebirth hit theaters yesterday.
Woo!
And of course, we have to start off our summertime blockbuster July with this.
Hold on to your butts. We're diving into the world of Jurassic Park.
We'll be doing things a bit different in this episode. I'll be deep diving into the 1990 novel Jurassic Park by Michael Crichton.
While I will be exploring the 1993 movie directed by Stephen Spielberg. Just as a little fun factoid, I first saw this movie when I was like 5 years old and absolutely loved it. But I did not realize for the longest time that there was a scene at the beginning of the movie where a velociraptor eats a worker because my parents would always fast forward that part before they called me in to watch the movie. And also, apparently, this was a common occurrence. Like, a lot of 90s kids were talking about I never saw that movie I never saw that scene until much later. So, yeah, imagine my surprise when I saw that scene for the very first time.
He's like, shoot her!
Shoot her!
Well, Sarah, you're in for a lot of surprises from this book.
Why am I worried? And fair warning, dear listeners, this is a beefy episode, as we will be spending most of our time covering the book, as there is less familiarity with the original plot of Jurassic Park, the novel.
Ironic, isn't it? Our first movie myth episode, and we're bookworms?
We've always been bookworms, but
This is
anyway,
true.
take it away, Yenny.
The book starts off by giving us a bit of backstory. Or shall
Context!
I say Sarah's? Yep, there you go.
Sorry.
Sarah's favorite word, context. Well, this starts with context of how things began and suddenly snowballed into the recreation of dinosaurs, all thanks to biotechnology. By the late 1970s, biotechnology research was at an all-time high, and one of the thousands of companies working on biotech was called InGen. Their research was conducted in secret, and mysteriously, they filed for bankruptcy in October 1989 after an incident occurred.
Uh-oh.
An incident on a private island off the west coast of Costa Rica in August of 1989.
Uh-oh.
Sometime before the incident, in the fishing village of Bahia Nasco in the west coast of Costa Rica, a doctor sees a helicopter with the words InGen Construction land right out in front of them. And they bring in a young man who has been practically ripped to shreds.
Shoot her!
A man by the name of Ed Regis walks in and asks the doctor to tend to the young man's wounds, saying there was an unfortunate construction accident.
Convenient.
The doctor does not believe this, and the young man whispers,
Raptor. Losa. Raptor.
and she notices a white, foamy substance, sort of like saliva on his wounds. The young man unfortunately succumbs to his wounds before she can do anything.
Oh.
In Cabo Blanco Biological Reserve, also on the west coast of Costa Rica, the Bowmans are enjoying their vacation. 8-year-old Tina ventures towards some mangroves on the beach and meets a strange animal. It looks like a lizard, barely a foot tall, yet it has 3 toes and stands on its hind legs. Plus, it has a long neck. It chirps at her, and she can't help but extend her hand.
Naturally.
The Bowmans hear their daughter scream. Flash forward to little Tina at the hospital making a speedy recovery after receiving multiple bites on her arms and having doctors agree that she had an allergic reaction.
Isn't this a scene in the second Jurassic Park film, The Lost World?
Oh, yeah, probably.
All right, cool. Listeners, you're going to be seeing a lot of scenes that you're going, oh, wait, that was in another movie. That was in another.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway.
They kind of split them up apart. I keep looking to this side because you're usually on this side of the screen, and today you're on this side. So I feel weird.
I'm here to throw you off.
Apparently. Mrs. Bowman asks if her daughter is in jeopardy of contracting rabies. Dr. Gutierrez, a field biologist working in Costa Rica, replies,
"A reptile can't carry rabies."
Yet Dr. Gutierrez carries some doubt. He recalled the little girl saying it had 3 toes and a long neck, and upon calling several other medical offices, learns the same type of lizard has been reported biting children and infants across the villages.
She also drew a picture.
She did draw a picture.
She drew a picture to be like, no, I saw what I saw.
Yeah. Walking back towards the beach where Tina encountered the lizard, Dr. Gutierrez spots one by luck and immediately captures it and sends it to a professor of zoology at Columbia University. Unbeknownst to Dr. Gutierrez, the professor isn't available, and the findings actually reach a medical lab in New York, where upon inspecting the sample, they send back their findings.
No histologic or immunologic evidence for any communicable disease in man in this sample.
I will say, they did see an odd amount of poison from the king cobra. Except that they thought, well, there is some lizards that have, sometimes DNA of other things in it, and so that totally makes sense. But we're just going to put it under the rug. And a lot of things in this book get put under the rug in the beginning, which ultimately...
I was going to say, the workers at the medical professionals in New York were trying to speed through this and just be like, whatever. We know what it is. It's a basilisk lizard. All right, just get rid of it. Do your jobs, people.
Exactly. Now, back in Bahia Nasco, a midwife was tending to a new mother when she heard chirping noises. A bit alarmed, she went to check in the other room where the newborn baby lay, only to find 3 lizards on their hind legs looming over the bassinet, their snouts dripping in blood.
Jiminy Christmas, they ate the baby!
They ate the baby, and I was like, damn, dude, this is like 3 pages into the book.
Yeah, I'm like, we are just now, like, we are setting the stage, we are setting the groundwork, and already I'm like...
it's bad when babies die.
Where's the awe and sparkle that Spielberg promised us?
Yeah, no. You'd think the midwife would immediately call for help, but she did no such thing.
Come again?
They'd think her crazy, she thought. And so instead, she just sent in that the baby passed due to sudden infant death syndrome, or SIDS, and no one ever thought to challenge her.
Okay, there is something very nefarious about that, because SIDS is already terrifying, but now when we have like some sort of animal epidemic going on, because I know they're not wanting to admit that it's dinosaurs right now, they're just going to say it's lizards, but we obviously have some sort of animal epidemic, like,
but
SIDS?
Now we see. The construction worker mauled, they said it was a construction accident, so nobody reported it. Tina, she has a picture. She says what it was. They say it was a basilisk lizard. I never thought anything of it. And now this baby gets mauled, and they say it's SIDS, and nobody thinks of it. So all of these
and the
things
sample that the New York medical team did on the dinosaur, they're like, oh, well, there are all these weird things, but that happens sometimes.
Yeah. So they just kind of put it under the rug, and unfortunately, because of that, now we're almost 4,000 miles north of Costa Rica, in Snakewater, Montana, and we meet Dr. Alan Grant.
Yay!
Professor of paleontology and a respected researcher who always has on a pair of jeans.
That's an odd detail.
But it was in the book.
It was in the book.
While at a dig site, he is met by Bob Morris, a lawyer from the Environmental Protection Agency, or EPA. Morris questions Grant on his connection to John Hammond and the Hammond Foundation, records indicating that the foundation paid Grant yearly to help fund the dinosaur excavations, as well as pay Grant for consultation services. Morris mentions the foundation also bought millions of dollars worth of amber, as well as leased an island in Costa Rica.
So they're about to start some sort of massive jewelry operation?
Shit, I'd buy amber jewelry. Grant tells the truth. He has been paid by the foundation and did give consults when asked, but doesn't have much, nor cares much, for the reason why. Morris presses further, commenting,
"The island is 100 miles off the west coast. It's almost perpetually covered in fog. They, the Costa Ricans, used to call it Cloud Island, Isla Nublar."
Morris goes on, asking if Grant had ever heard of InGen, and finds out that Grant had given his consultation service to legal counsel of InGen, Donald Gennaro. Gennaro wanted information about duck-billed hadrosaurs. Oh.
That's staying in.
Right.
Just pick one. I've been saying
Just pick
hadrosaurs.
Hadrosaurs, I'll go with you, including their nesting behavior, feeding behaviors, social behaviors, and more. Grant finally asks what's going on, and Morris lets him know that the EPA believes InGen is doing illegal activity. They purchased powerful supercomputers and 24 gene sequencers and sent them to Costa Rica. All these powerful machines away in a country with no regulations.
Man, we're really getting into the shady side of the jewelry making business.
Yeah. The EPA was cracking down on companies who were doing this ever since a leading biotech company, Genetic Biosyn Corporation, had an accidental rabies breakout.
They're just casually throwing out all of these terrifying concepts. Oh, the baby died of lizards, it's SIDS. Oh, accidental rabies outbreak? All right, cool, no big deal.
Yeah, nothing about that.
All right.
Grant and Morris say their goodbyes. Morris stating that this case on InGen may very well close because there's not enough information to take the company to court. Oh, wait a bit, Morris. Wait a bit.
We'll give you stuff. We'll give you plenty.
In about a week, you're going to have everything you need. Just as Morris leaves, Grant receives a very interesting call. One of a piece of flesh and partial skeleton of an odd lizard that attacked a small child on the west coast of Costa Rica. As Grant and his partner paleobotanist Ellie looked at the scan of the tiny creature's bones, Grant was in awe.
This is not a lizard. No three-toed lizard has walked on this planet for 200 million years.
Instead, it was a Procompsognathus, or Compy, which is how we're going to call it for the rest of the time.
It's a Compy.
Compy. A dinosaur from the Triassic period and over 220 million years old.
Whew!
Grant nor Ellie can believe it. And almost as if on cue, they receive a phone call from Mr. Hammond himself, questioning about the EPA's poking around.
Suspicious.
But also pressing for Grant to come visit the island, Isla Nublar, which is set to open in September. He tells Grant that he'll pay him $60,000 in consultation fees, plus Ellie's,
oh my gosh,
to come and visit the park. There's not much room for negotiation when talking about that kind of money. We're talking $120,000.
I mean, that's, for 1 weekend. Also, side note, I would just like to say, because, earlier Yinny did refer to Grant's partner, paleobotanist Ellie. That's it. It is partner in the strictest, most scientific use of the term. They are research partners. There is absolutely zero chemistry between these two.
And there's like a 20-year gap. And she's getting married.
I was going to say, I am glad that there is no romance, because they make a point to say Grant, a man in his 40s, and Ellie, 24 years old. Yeah. And there is just zero sparks, zero sizzle, just pure professional respect. And I support
she's
that.
And she's actually his student in the book, too.
Even better! No romance!
Even better.
Stop it!
Even better. Yeah. Hundreds of miles away in a law office, Donald Gennaro felt uneasy about the news of a new lizard biting children in Costa Rica, as well as the issues happening inside of Isla Nublar. He learned from Hammond that a small group of people were coming to the island soon, a paleontologist, a paleobotanist, and a mathematician by the name of Ian Malcolm, who had been incredibly against InGen's project from the start. Gennaro would be coming to the island too, in hopes to fix all the issues at hand. Prior to leaving, Dan Ross, his partner, tells him,
"If there's a problem on that island, burn it to the ground."
As Gennaro boarded the plane and got comfy in Hammond's jet, a particular conversation arises. What was supposed to be a total of 12 animals residing at the park is no more.
"We have 238 animals now, Donald,"
Hammond says.
"We have herds of them."
Hammond goes on to explain that the park will not be like any other. No animatronics or fun houses, nay. There will be live attractions and lots of money.
Ah, the true motivator of this book.
Oh, yes.
Hammond, the bloodthirsty capitalist. I'm sorry, movie purists. Oh.
If you liked Hammond in the movie, you're not going to like him in the book.
Keep liking him in the movie, but just erase him from your mind for this book.
Yes. Hammond's not wrong about the money.
Uh-huh.
They are on their way to making incredibly outrageous amounts of money. We're talking in the billions. And in California, Biosyn is having a late-night meeting conversing about just how much money he'll be making. This is because they know exactly what Isla Nublar has inside. Dinosaurs. The chairman of Biosyn agrees, which, by the way, is Dodgson in the movie. That's
yes.
The one, yeah.
Who, again, in the movie, we really don't know who he is. We just know he's kind of a bad guy.
Yeah,
all right.
He's kind of a bad guy, but now you know he's a part of the chairman in Biosyn. And they agree that while InGen has a 5-year head start, they can definitely catch up. All they need is a few embryos.
Oh, that's all?
And so they will send someone by the name of Dennis Nedry to recover just what they need. Dennis, the programmer in charge of basically creating the whole system of Jurassic Park. Dennis, who resents InGen for the way they treated him. It was easy to accept Biosyn's offer to steal embryos. And so Dennis would enter the park with a large can of Gillette foam shaving cream.
It's a little specialized. It's a little bit cooler than that. It's kind of like, the Gillette shaving cream of James Bond.
Yes. Back on the plane, we finally get the chance to meet the notorious mathematician, Ian Malcolm, a.k.a. Hot Stuff in the movie.
Love it.
From the start, Ian comments on his opinion that Isla Nublar will come apart before it even opens. And that's all because of chaos theory.
Oh.
Camp Cretaceous fans, unite. What's up? You have to watch it, Sarah.
I
It's
will.
so
I
good.
will. Absolutely.
Ian explains.
I'm not going to do a Jeff Goldblum impression.
You can try!
Chaos theory says 2 things. First, complex systems have an underlying order. And he's dying. Second, the reverse of that simple systems can produce complex behavior. You can't predict more than a few seconds into the future because almost immediately, very small effects start to make a difference.
Now you got to do the smolder that he does.
Wait, hold on. If I could just expose more of my chest for that scene when he's just sprawled with a broken leg and he is just the definition of sexy.
And they give it a whole 5 seconds. He's just there.
Yes, the fact that he's supposed to be in so much pain and high off of morphine, and as somebody who was recently in the hospital in a lot of pain and high off of morphine, I know I did not look that good.
As the plane makes a rather bumpy landing, the team, Grant, Ellie, and Ian, alongside Gennaro and Hammond, step out. And as Grant looks over at the rolling hills and the tropical forest-like atmosphere, he is greeted by none other than a brontosaurus. Mesmerized by the sauropod, Hammond takes the opportunity to let them know they'd be receiving a full tour of the facilities, plus a trip inside the park to view the dinosaurs later on.
I love it.
Ed Regis, head of public relations for the park, would be taking them around. Dennis is also now a part of the group, though always towards the back.
Nothing to see here, folks.
And so they make their way to the visitor center. The team reads a banner, giving us the name to what would be one of the highest-grossing films of all time and an immediate cult classic, giving way to franchises, amusement parks, and so much more. Welcome to Jurassic Park. Almost immediately, Grant and Ellie become skeptical. Ellie noting,
you can't reproduce a real dinosaur because you can't get real dinosaur DNA.
As the tour begins, Gennaro lets the team know why they're here, which is to answer whether or not the island is safe and safely containing the dinosaurs.
We already know the answer.
Yeah. Our fave mathematician Ian presses again, stating that this park was doomed from the beginning. He says this like 10 times throughout the book, but I'm not going to say it every time. He explains that except for the air, everything in the park is meant to be isolated. The animals are never meant to escape.
Such isolation is impossible,
he says.
It simply cannot be done.
Hammond denies this.
Of course he does.
Nothing is wrong with his park. Nothing at all. He's so sure of this that he invited 2 more guests to join them. To Ed Regis's absolute horror, his boss has decided to bring his grandchildren to the park.
Oh, great!
11-year-old dino enthusiast Tim and his 8-year-old sister, Lex.
Yes, their ages are swapped in the film. Tim is actually the older sibling, but still as much of a dinosaur nerd as Grant.
Yes. Almost immediately, Tim recognizes Grant, and the two get close. Their love for dinos is big.
Oh yeah, Grant likes kids.
Yes. Ed, on the other hand, is completely annoyed by the sight of the kids, especially since Hammond has instructed him to watch over them, demoting him from head of PR to head nanny.
Okay, yeah, I kind of feel for Regis here a little bit.
Yeah. As the tour continues, the team,
now consisting of Grant, Ellie, Ian, Dennis, Tim, and Lex, with Ed,
is shown the lab. And notice the abundance of amber stone everywhere. They are greeted by Chief Geneticist Dr. Henry Wu, who will be giving them an in-depth tour of the lab. Dr. Wu knows the team is interested in understanding how the park was able to create dinosaur DNA. He explains that there are 2 sources they've used: an antibody extraction technique directly from the dinosaur bones, and amber, the fossilized resin of prehistoric tree sap.
But how can amber aid the process of creating dinosaur DNA? By the trapping of insects, specifically biting insects, who sucked the blood of the prehistoric giants, in the words of the little animated DNA from the movie. And voila, dino DNA.
Hey. Yet even then, the DNA isn't complete. Pieces of the strand are still missing. Dr. Wu explains that other animal DNA is used to cover the gaps of the missing DNA. Finally, the team is taken into the hatchery. We learn that even with all the aid of technology, there's only a 0.4 survival rate. As they move to the nursery, they're surprised to find a baby velociraptor.
What?
Yeah. The baby velociraptor jumps on Tim and starts cuddling with him. And the others wonder, is this safe? Yes. Dr. Wu confidently says that of course she is. She has no teeth. Not only that, but they are always near humans at birth, even needing help when breaking out of their eggs. Grant questions this.
What happens in the wild?
And Dr. Wu shakes his head.
None of our animals are capable of breeding. All animals in Jurassic Park are female.
It shouldn't be no surprise that Ian immediately got something to say. How sure could they be that no male animal has escaped the eyes of the scientists? In the movie, he goes, "Do you check under their skirts?"
Right, do you lift their skirts?
Yeah. It's impossible to be 100%.
Remember, listeners, chaos theory.
Yes, get used to chaos theory here. One of the last places to visit prior to going out into the park was the control room. As Ed guides them over, Ian takes the opportunity to ask how many species they have in the park. Ed confidently states that there are 15. Dr. Wu says he forgets, which is very odd.
That is not reassuring. The head geneticist forgets?
Yeah. Ian asks if one of the 15 or so are compies. Dr. Wu says yes. The compies are indeed part of the park and mainly are used for maintenance purposes. 50 roam the park, their job being to eat the feces of large herbivores, sort of like what dung beetles do.
Oh, how nice.
Ian asks if there is a possibility that some may have escaped. But Wu states that is impossible, for he has genetically modified all the dinos to be amino acid lysine deficient, meaning that should they leave the park, they die in less than 12 hours. In addition, the closest bit of land is more than 100 miles away and only reachable by boat. Grant then asks if they'll be able to see any adult raptors, and Ed directs them to the containment area.
Dread.
Dread. As they get to the containment area, Grant talks about raptors for a bit, explaining that paleontologists have found raptors to be large-brained, possibly the most intelligent of dinos. Ian asks Grant and Ellie how intelligent the raptors can be, but Grant answers that no one really knows for sure.
Foreshadowing, anyone?
Oh, for sure. They spot a raptor hidden behind the fern fronds inside their containment area, watching them closely. Grant notices quickly that they are not being watched, but hunted. Within seconds, 2 raptors bolt out and hit the electric fence, stunning them. And then the one behind the fronds races forward, claws out, and jumps to attack, only to be shocked. Their handler jogs towards them, asking if they're okay, and makes a pretty odd statement.
They do that all the time. Hit the fence, take a shock. They never seem to mind.
Ian later on questions the raptors' behavior. Perhaps, with their large brains, have they learned that humans are easy to kill?
It is a learned behavior.
Oh, yeah. Away from the group, Dr. Wu tries to yet again talk to Hammond about the dinos. Hammond doesn't understand why Wu wants to replace the whole stock, with only a year left for the park to open.
They're real dinosaurs,
Wu explains.
They move too fast. We could easily breed slower, more domesticated dinosaurs.
My boy Hammond ain't having none of it. But Wu presses that although they are real dinosaurs, they aren't exact replicas. There's no way to recreate the past, only reconstruct it by using other animal DNA to fill in the missing gaps. And the ones created, they are too close to the real thing.
Why not push ahead to make exactly the kind of dinosaur that we'd like to see? One that's more acceptable to visitors, easier for us to handle.
Hammond disagrees. They have investors waiting on this. They have a park to open, money to make. Hammond shakes his head.
It's just a zoo, Henry, which seems like the most demeaning thing you could say to this geneticist.
A geneticist?
After making Jurassic Park.
Yeah.
But then again, it's Jurassic Park filled with Cretaceous period dinosaurs, but I digress.
I mean, he's going to eat his words, or something else will. The team tours the control room and meet John Arnold, the chief engineer of the park, with a cigarette lazily bobbing in his mouth, which is exactly how they do it in the film.
Yes, well, and I want to say, it's John Arnold, but really, we all know it's Samuel L. Jackson.
Hello. He explains to the team how well controlled the park is. They can track all the animals and have reports on their feeding, sleep, behavior schedules with a click of a button.
Of course.
The data is recalculated every 30 seconds, and anyone in the control room would know if an animal was missing or doing something entirely different within minutes. Grant feels a certain way about how these living creatures are but numbers on a graph. But Arnold reminds him that these are not animals, but creations, expensive ones at that. And when any bugs are found, Wu is in charge of creating a better version.
All right, this is a whole, I'm sorry, I know we have a beefy episode, but just real quick, this is also getting into the nitty-gritty bugs of the entire operation that is Jurassic Park, because here they are playing God, creating life, and everybody there is going, well, I don't like that version. Let's make the next version. Let's make a better version. So it really is we are not bringing back the past or reviving it. We can reconstruct it, and then we can reconstruct it to our desires, which is deeply disturbing.
Yeah, it's super disturbing.
Like, that is, ethically speaking, and I know that mankind as a whole has done all sorts of genetic modification in plants, animals, humans themselves for the betterment of all of it. But if the core principle of Jurassic Park is to bring the past to life, that means bringing the past to life in all of its
ugliness
glory. And glory. So this is The ethics here are messy, and I really love Grant in this entire book.
Yes.
I love him so much because he loves dinosaurs, and you can tell this entire thing, he's like, this is giving me the heebie-jeebies.
Yeah, he knew, him and Ellie from the start know that this
They're
is
just like,
not the
no.
right way.
No.
Gennaro asks if any of the dinos would be able to escape, but Arnold shakes his head. They created countermeasures to ensure they do not leave their areas.
Oh, of course they did.
Park Warden Muldoon chimes in that even if they do get out, they have the weapons to ensure their capture. Ian asks if the park can be run single-handedly, and Arnold says yes, it can, all thanks to Dennis Nedry, who currently sat a few feet away on his desk, typing away and eating a candy bar.
Throughout the book, he's repeatedly referred to as a slob, which I think is kind of hilarious since he's like the computer brains of the entire book. I'm like, oh, so we're perpetuating the nerd stereotype.
Absolutely. Yeah, there's a lot of stereotypes in the book, unfortunately.
But they're fun in this book when you're just like, what's going to happen?
Yes. And then
Not
what
good,
happens to
just
them.
fun.
After their visit to the control room, Ed gets the team prepped for the tour of the park. In one self-driving car, Ellie, Grant, Ian, and Gennaro. In the other, Ed, Tim, and Lex. The vehicles rumble to life and the ride begins. Back in the control room, Arnold, Muldoon, and Hammond watch the team ride through the park. Arnold comments on the continuous issues going on throughout the park, all of which Hammond dismisses.
Same song, different verse.
Yep. Arnold tries to talk about the issues going on with the raptors, and Robert Muldoon, Park Warden, agrees by stating,
they should all be destroyed.
Hammond shuts down the issues, instead talking about the computer programs, to which Arnold just goes on a tangent about as well.
Justifiably. Justifiably.
In fact, there is over 130 bugs that need to be fixed by Dennis.
Oh my
Keep
gosh.
that in.
Which they also briefly mention that in the movie, just in passing. But, I mean, it's 130 bugs. I don't think so. I don't think so.
In the park, the team reaches the Tyrannosaurus Rex enclosure. Both Grant and Tim exceptionally eager to see it. The team learns from Ed, who speaks through the car's linked radio system, that there are 2 Rexes, a younger one and an adult. As the day nears its end and the sun sets, they see a goat in a cage.
Oh, the goat!
Now, the team only had to wait a few minutes before the adult Rex came in and ate the goat. And that was it.
He wants a barbacoa burrito.
Oh, yeah. He's a lamb chop. At control, the gentlemen continue watching them, and we learn about Muldoon's concerns about the park, specifically about the raptors. The fact that they kill for fun, not because they're hungry, and have learned how to escape from their enclosure on occasion is unsettling. Yet Hammond never thought much of it. In fact, he blamed Ian and the team for ruining the experience. His park guests only saw negative things. How could they not see the wonder, the excitement?
Sir, these are valid issues, which also, can we just bring up the fact that, like, every single time Hammond's like, oh, well, I need feedback. Oh, well, I need your report so that I can open it. No. Not that kind of feedback. This is, he wants confirmation bias, which is the antithesis of science.
Oh, there you go. There you go. Sarah's on a roll.
Sorry.
You're like, As the cars continue on their set path, Tim spots some movement and immediately yells to stop the car.
A raptor! In that field!
He shouts. Ed doesn't pay attention, but
No, of course
Grant and Ian don't necessarily dust off what Tim says. The team continue forward and are able to see a Stegosaurus in person, albeit a sick one.
Aww.
While Ellie and Grant try to tend to the animal, a discovery is made. An eggshell.
What?
And not just any eggshell, but a raptor eggshell.
Oh, of course it couldn't be a herbivore eggshell.
No.
Of course not.
The team calls control and, of course, no surprise, Hammond dismisses. But so does Wu. Arnold quickly pulls up the animal statistics on his screen. And while the book shows 15 species, we're just going to look at 2. Compies are at 49. Velociraptors are at 8. Ian, challenges the computer and Arnold and tells them to have the system search for all animals in the park, not the expected 238. Little by little, the count goes up. There are no longer 238 animals, but 292. And the count of compies rises to 65.
What about velociraptors? The computer said there were 8.
37.
You know, I'm missing when apparently there were only supposed to be 12 total dinosaurs in this park.
Yeah. Wu continues to press that there is an error. It cannot be. They're all female, y'all.
Oh, so the error is with the computer that can fully automate and run this park, not with the human scientists who are playing God?
Yeah. But Grant asks him about the types of DNA used when filling in the blanks. He asks if by chance there is frog DNA.
While not specifically just frogs, amphibians as a whole can change sex due to the environment.
Yes. And this also brings in, which is not in the book, but if they are parthenogenetic, they can also reproduce without male sperm. So there's a lot of stuff that could go wrong. Wu stops talking at this point.
Good.
He's like, fuck. It's a rated R one. I could say the F word. As Lex complains that she's hungry,
she's just
the
a
team
little
decides
kid.
She's 8 years old, and hearing all this thing, she's just like, I'm hungry.
Right?
The team decides to split up. Grant, Ian, Ed, and the kids will go back towards the park HQ, while Ellie, Dr. Harding, and Gennaro stay with the stick stegosaurus.
The stick stegosaurus?
Stegosaurus. I said I wasn't going to say it right every time.
The stick stegosaurus.
I should say that Gennaro actually stays with Ellie because he thinks she's hot.
That is true.
So, yeah.
And also the fact of, in the movie, if you're picturing Gennaro, you're picturing this tall, lanky, balding man who's, pretty cowardly. In the book, he's described as this muscular, barrel-chested man in his mid-30s, and I'm like, you're a lawyer? What?
Hello.
And he even plays with the kids.
Set me down and talk to me about the law. Yeah.
Right. He plays with the kids and he's pretty friendly with everybody, but he's just hey, legitimately, what are your concerns?
Exactly.
He's a kind of cool character in the book.
He is. A storm is brewing during all of this, and suddenly the vehicles stop working and they are left overlooking the ocean down below. Ed exits his car and runs toward Grant and Ian's, mentioning that Lex and Tim were sharing night vision goggles and noticed something on the boat that's now leaving the dock. Baby raptors.
Leaving the island?
Yes. As Grant and Ian scramble to contact control, they notice the lines are down. There's no connection to control, and now they're stranded inside the park. Here we go. Here we go, y'all.
Ugh.
Meanwhile, Arnold, Hammond, and Muldoon are also finding trouble. The phone lines and cameras are down. When looking towards Dennis, he mentions that everything is down due to using all the power to finish fixing the 130 bugs in the system. Totally makes sense, right?
Naturally, yeah. While we have people in the park, why don't we just fix all this?
Yeah. Dennis lets them know that in 15 minutes, everything should be back to normal. And actually, he's gonna go for a Coke. Not even a few minutes later, Arnold is shocked. The lines and camera aren't the only thing that's down. The whole park is down. Arnold makes a grave statement.
When you turn off the security, you turn off all the peripheral fences as well. The animals can get out now.
Well, yeah, bro. Aquí la cosa se puso mal. While chaos is happening in control, Dennis is on his way to the lab, grabbing the embryos and placing them into the shaving cream contraption that Biosin made for him. It was easy. He had waited for everyone to have dinner and then purposefully shut down everything to ensure he wouldn't be seen. They wouldn't suspect him. He even gave them a 15-minute window, remember?
Oh.
Which would be enough time for him to grab a car and take the embryos to the dock.
We would like to take a moment to tell you that moving forward, there will be blood, violence, and gore. Again, listener discretion is advised, and if you are around small children, please use headphones.
Yeah, it's going to get saucy. All right. Dinosaurs are having human spaghetti and meatballs. All right. I don't know.
All right, Jersey.
Back in the park, Tim was playing with the night vision goggles as they waited for them to resume driving. It's raining harder now, And soon, he catches a glimpse of the T-Rex coming towards the fence, grabbing the fence, and nothing happens.
Great.
Ed sees this too, and after literally pissing himself, he opens the car door and bolts out, leaving the children on their own, which coincides with the movie.
Yeah.
The T-Rex moves forward, passing through the fence and onto the road, before swooping down and looking into the car the children are in. It begins hitting the car with its head, throwing the children around. Lex gets knocked out cold, blood coming through the side of her head. Tim is in no better shape, but at least coherent. The T-Rex grabs the car in its mouth, raises it up high, and then throws it down one last time. Ian and Grant watch in horror from their car. But our mathematician does something unexpected. Chaos theory?
Chaos theory.
Ian opens the door and bolts out, not to try to be the martyr like in the book. He literally bolts out to just run away.
Oh, great. So he and Regis are just I'm out of here.
Yeah. But the T-Rex sees him, and so we have our first dino mauling of the day, folks. Bye-bye, Ian.
Oh, no, not Jeff Goldblum. Even though
Goldblum.
he's not described as Jeff Goldblum in the book. He's described, again, as lanky and balding.
Yes. Grant is only stunned for a moment before using the chance of T-Rex eating Ian to run towards the kids. As he reaches the car, the T-Rex turns around and faces him, but does nothing.
What?
Grant deduces that so long as he does not move, the T-Rex will not attack because it cannot see him. But it does suspect him, and it knows there's humans in the car. In frustration, the T-Rex kicks the car, Grant with it.
Oh, great. Okay.
In another part of the park, Dennis drives towards the ocean, knowing the boat is waiting for him. Unfortunately, he gets lost and, for some reason, decides to exit the vehicle.
Why would you do this?
He looks around for a while, and he's going back to the car when he hears a hoot.
A hoot?
A hoot. He freezes as he sees a 10-foot-tall dino staring back at him. A Dilophosaurus. He feels something land on him and realizes the dinosaur has spit on him, then on his eyes. Immediately, he feels searing pain and loses his eyesight, followed by another kind of pain as the dinosaur disembowels him.
Dinos 2, humans 0.
In his bungalow, Hammond and Wu chat over ice cream.
Oh, of course they do.
Hammond explaining his plans to open up parks all over the world and how they're going to make billions.
Billions!
A few buildings away, Arnold is sending park security to find Dennis, not knowing he's already gone.
In more ways than one.
Yeah. At the same time, Tim is waking up in a dangling car, over 20 feet in the air and hanging on by branches. No one is
the
in
car
the car
is in the
with him.
trees? Great.
Yes.
Wonderful.
And no one is in the car with him. And he doesn't remember how he got there, but he knows that he has little time left before the car comes crashing down. He narrowly escapes being smashed by the vehicle as he climbs down the tree, which is one of the famous scenes in the movies.
Love that scene.
And finds himself on the road calling out to his sister. Luckily, the two reunite.
Oh, thank goodness.
Lex calls out for Grant, and soon the three are together.
Oh, the babies.
Yes. Grant tells them that they must get back to HQ, and they have to tell them about the raptors they saw on the ship. A few yards down, Ed Regis is alive too. He had heard Lex calling out for Grant, and began walking back towards them. When Lex sees him, she's about to yell out, but Grant puts a hand over her mouth. They are not alone.
Uh-oh.
The baby T-Rex has appeared, and it's found Ed.
I feel like baby is a bit misleading.
Yes.
Isn't this thing 8 feet tall?
Yeah, but they're a baby.
I'm just a baby.
I'm just a baby who is going to kill you. So, to Grant, Tim, and Lex's horror, they see the juvenile dinosaur play with Ed until it steps on him and rips his body apart.
Dinos 3, humans 0. But wait. In the movie, Gennaro's the first one who dies. So, Yinny, where is Gennaro and Ellie and Dr. Harding? Where are they?
Oh, well, we finally get an idea where those three are, and they have no idea what's going on.
They're still having a fun time with a sick stegosaurus?
Yeah, they're just like, la 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 la. They hear Arnold come through the radio, but the line is broken. Luckily, Muldoon finds them and takes them back to HQ. In the control room, Dr. Wu and Arnold try to figure out what Dennis left them with by looking at his keystrokes,
AKA his digital footprint.
They quickly see that Dennis shut everything off on purpose, and now Arnold is tasked in bringing back the system. Plus, Wu has left to see if anything is missing in the lab, which,
Good instincts there. It's the first time you've had any good instincts, Wu.
Yeah. As Arnold works on the coding, Muldoon and Gennaro go out in search of Ian, Grant, and the kids. They make it to the destroyed vehicles on the road, but Muldoon is surprised to learn that there may be survivors. He even finds tracks of what seem to be an adult and children in the mud. But the biggest find Gennaro and Muldoon make is none other than Ian, still alive, albeit near death, and they quickly take him back to HQ.
Chaos theory for the win. Dinos are down to 2. Humans, still at 0. Yeah.
Still at 0, yeah.
Yeah.
Now in the park, without any weapons, radio, or car, Grant and the kids search for a place to rest and recover. Reaching the sauropod enclosure, they're able to find a barred shed, and quickly the three of them, exhausted, fall asleep.
I don't blame them.
I know. While they sleep, Arnold is typing away in control and is able to find the command that'll restore the park. Yay!
Great!
Not long after, the motion detectors and electric fences turn on, leaving Gennaro and Arnold frantically searching for Grant and the kids. They come to the conclusion that they must be asleep since the motion detectors can't find them.
They're remaining
and
hopeful.
They also realize that 3 sections of the parks have their fences down. Dr. Harding and Muldoon go to quickly fix them. But as they reach the last fence, which holds the sauropods, they realize it looks like it's been broken down by the T-Rex. Hammond at this point seems more worried about the sauropod safety than his own grandchildren.
Money shows true colors. But wait, aren't Grant and the kids in the sauropod enclosure?
Mm-hmm.
Great. Wonderful.
The night passes,
Fantastic.
and soon the kids wake up, safe in the shed that they slept in. The shed turns out to be a maintenance building, and it has power. Grant and the kids make their way out of the shed in hopes to find a motion sensor that'll alert the control room, but find that none of them are working. And soon, they hear a familiar roar, and chaos ensues as the T-Rex bursts through the trees, grabbing its breakfast sauropod.
Oh no!
Dinos roaming the enclosure begin to stampede towards Grant and the kids, and they luckily have time to climb up a tree and stay safe. In the tree, Tim tells Grant that he had seen a raft back at the shed, and so the three go back towards it in hopes to drift down the jungle river, which would lead them back to HQ.
Smart kid.
While no raft was found in the shed, they found 2 things: a tranquilizer pistol and a map detailing the park.
Bingo!
They find a raft storage down the road. But again, they aren't alone. Our T-Rex, who had breakfast just a while back, is snoozing right in front of them.
Oh, great.
Grant and the kids are able to get a raft and get into the river without too much noise. But then Lex has to cough.
Alexis! Coughing is my thing. Come on.
Yeah. Oh my God, that's so right. She got a little scratchies.
A little scratchy.
Obviously, Tim starts to argue with her, and all of a sudden, the T-Rex wakes up and begins to swim towards them.
No. I don't want a swimming T-Rex.
Yeah. They're about to become dino dessert until baby T-Rex appears and tries to steal T-Rex's leftovers. No you didn't. The adult changes course and swims back to guard its kill. The 3 continue on in the river and make their way towards the aviary, hoping to find a phone or at least a working sensor. Unbeknownst to them, the control room realizes that the 3, if alive, may be in an area where sensors do not work.
Of course not.
Why would you have sensors that don't work?
Yeah, why are they not operational? Come on, that was not in the list of bugs earlier.
Yeah. I can just imagine you in the background going, and check, you suck. So, additionally, They hope they are far away from the aviary, since the pterodactyls,
fish-eating cousins of pterodactyls,
confined in there have been a nasty problem.
Oh,
Yeah.
really?
It shouldn't be surprising that the moment the three get off the raft, they find the dactyls. Lex, being the smallest, is their main target.
Oh,
At one point grabbing her and trying to fly away.
Ah!
Thankfully, they escape. Safely back on the raft, they go for a few miles before they encounter the adult T-Rex again, hot on their trail.
Also, I just want to say, I love the fact that, like, the pterodactyl scene and the swimming T-Rex scene, even though it was replaced with a different dinosaur, like, have all appeared in other Jurassic Park franchise movies aside from the one. Like, these scenes did not make it into the first movie, but, like, they've been distributed appropriately.
Mm-hmm. Narrowly escaping T-Rex, Grant realizes that the raft is going faster, and he sees a waterfall straight ahead.
Why is there a waterfall?
With no way to escape it, the three tumble down with the T-Rex waiting for them at the bottom. All three make it, albeit Lex at some point, like, drowns and he has to perform CPR on her, but she comes back.
Poor baby.
And they silently go around the T-Rex, who is still trying to find them in the water. Grant sees an opening behind the waterfall, and they find another maintenance room. Yet as the door opens and Grant steps in, it shuts behind them, now separating him from the kids.
No!
Grant finds a flashlight and car inside, but also a baby velociraptor, specifically a male one.
One, how do we know it's male? But no, I'm not going to worry about that. But two, this must be the one that was bred in the wild.
Exactly. Grant is able to shoot him with the tranquilizer, and just outside the door, unbeknownst to him, the kids are being terrorized by the T-Rex, who cannot see them but know that they are there. It's about to eat Tim, and this scene is so dreadful because it wraps its tongue around Tim and it's like bringing him in.
No!
Yeah. But before it's able to eat Tim, it lets him go and goes limp. And Tim notices it's because it's been tranquilized. The discovery is short-lived as they notice the waterfall stop and the door behind them open. Back in HQ and the control room, bad luck strikes yet again. Arnold and Wu realize that they've been on auxiliary power this whole time. Meaning the main power was never on and they've just been on backup power. That's
great.
it.
Yeah, and so they've probably run all the generators low. Of course.
Yes. And so the only way to fix this is to manually get it started in the maintenance building. What's more, the two, accompanied by Muldoon, Gennaro, and Hammond, learn that the fences were never turned on.
It's all that false sense of security.
Oh yeah, the dinos have been out the whole time, including the 8 velociraptors. Everything has now shifted. The most important thing being for everyone to stay together in HQ while Arnold goes to the maintenance building and Muldoon tries to deal with the raptors. Hammond whines.
What are you going to do to my animals?
Muldoon counters.
The question is, what are they going to do to us? I like Muldoon.
I do too. Gennaro and Muldoon team up to assist Arnold in the maintenance shed when they see Arnold being stalked by 3 raptors.
No!
Muldoon is able to blow one up with his launcher weapon. Yeah! And the other 2 raptors go for Muldoon. Arnold takes the opportunity to continue on into the maintenance building, leaving his shoe as a stopper on the door.
I feel like that's a bad choice.
As he moves toward the stairway, a raptor slips inside and pounces.
No, not Arnold, not Samuel L. Jackson.
A moment later, Gennaro slips into the maintenance building and finds a bloodied raptor. The 2 fight until the raptor bites his arm.
The dude is fighting a velociraptor like
Yeah,
hardcore.
bro, he like scraps.
I'm like,
fucking,
listen, they did
punches at
Gennaro dirty in the movie, but anyway, dinos
Yeah.
4, but with Muldoon's help, humans 1.
Woo! As all this takes place, Hammond, Ellie, Dr. Harding, and Ian sit up top in HQ. Ian is high on the morphine dosages Harding is giving him. But
Okay.
even so, he's still got some fight in him, right?
Me
And
too.
he fights Hammond because Hammond tries to say this was supposed to be a simple plan,
Oh
a
my
simple
gosh.
park.
Of course.
Disgusted by his nonchalance, Ian responds.
You create new life forms of which you know nothing at all. You made them, and therefore you think you own them. You forget they are alive. They have an intelligence of their own. How incompetent you are to do things that you so frivolously call simple. Ian may be annoying at times, but he has got a dang point. And I will say,
Yes,
pretty
he
much
does.
every time Ian has voiced his concerns, I've been like, yeah, exactly.
It's true. Gran and the kids are now in a car, zooming in the underground tunnels with a baby male raptor in tow.
Because why not?
Yeah, because the male raptor would prove that breeding is happening in the park. They reach the visitor center, only for them to see it's been torn apart. Actually, and this is the scene that comes out at the end of the movie where the banner, which is like all the dinosaurs, roamed
when dinosaurs
the world.
ruled the earth.
That's down, like that's the scene that they come into. They see a mauled guard on the floor,
Oh.
Grant snatching the radio and finally getting into contact with the rest of the team. Ellie lets Grant know raptors are currently terrorizing the building. The team comes up with a plan. Grant will go to the maintenance building to try and turn on the power. Ellie and Muldoon will act as bait to keep the raptors occupied. Grant tells the kids to stay in the cafeteria, where they'll be safe.
No, I do not believe any place is currently safe.
Especially the cafeteria.
Not the cafeteria. That's a dinosaur cafeteria.
Yeah, they got lamb chops in there. So, Ellie and Muldoon are able to keep the raptors entertained. But Ellie realizes there are only 3 in here.
This math is
There
not
were
nothing.
8 contained. Yeah. 1 was killed by Muldoon. 3 are with her. 2 are on the roof. Where is the other one? Inside the maintenance building, Wu guides Grant to the generator that'll kick up the power, and it works. But the lights still aren't on. Wu tells Grant he must manually restore the system. As Grant heads to another part of the building, he hears a familiar shout. Gennaro! The 2 of them come together, Gennaro mentioning that the raptor who bit him didn't try to kill him. Grant wonders if it's still in the building with them.
This is so strange, but dinos down to 3, humans 1.
Let's check on the kids real quick, shall we?
Oh,
Remember
yes,
that
let's.
missing raptor, guys? Remember
Oh,
that
yeah.
Ellie was counting? Well, you should know by now the famous scene in the movie that the kids are in fact not safe in the cafeteria. Lex wanted ice cream.
Bless her heart, she's been hungry since yesterday.
Since yesterday, this poor 8-year-old. Tim opens the freezer to get her some, but she stops him and tells him something's with them. The missing raptor.
Oh, great.
Thanks to Tim's quick thinking, the kids are able to trap the velociraptor in the freezer, a new type of ice cream, and run away.
Velociflavor. Woo! Humans 2, thanks to the
Yeah.
children.
Yes. On the other side of the lodge, Ellie continues to be bait. But Wu realizes the raptors have been with her for too long. They are intelligent creatures, remember?
Uh-huh.
Why would they stay there unless they are actually baiting her?
Oh, no!
Wu opens the window, yelling at Ellie to stop what she's doing, only to have a raptor who's been on the roof waiting, drag him up, tear him open, and eat him alive. Yeah.
No!
And it's actually really, described in the book. That's, the worst. Him and Dennis's are, the most gory scenes. Immediately, the raptors turn around and go toward the visitor center where the kids are.
Yes, why not?
Yeah.
The kids are tender. Get them.
Mind you, there are still 2 raptors up on the ceiling trying to get down as they smell Ian's blood. So they're trying to get in from, the top of the roof, and then the other 3 are there's children. Let's go. The kids make it to the control room, finding a radio and finally getting into contact with Muldoon, who is now with Harding, Ellie, Ian, and Hammond. Muldoon asks if Tim is able to start the computer system, and while both Lex and Tim try, they can't figure it out.
Oh.
Their search stops when both of them hear raptors in the hall. While peering out to see the 3 raptors, they end up locking themselves out.
That would be my luck.
Yeah. Thanks to a dead guard security card, they run towards another door and find the baby raptor they first met on tour.
Okay.
The raptors have unfortunately followed them, but Tim thinks if he throws the baby raptor at them, they'll become preoccupied.
Okay.
They do so by eating it.
No! Jurassic Park is not a safe land for babies of dinosaur or the human variety. Like, we just have baby deaths all over the place.
Yeah. Now we have to remember something. The raptors being born in the wild are completely different from the ones that have been contained.
Yeah, it's
right?
like when a new lion takes over a pride, he has to wipe out the previous generation's cubs. They're not his. I mean, it's animals being animals, and Hammond thought that it was just a bug.
It's just a bug.
It's just a bug.
The kids run down the hall and
finally
run into Grant and Gennaro. But the raptors are hot on their trail. Grant decides to become the bait, telling Gennaro to take care of the kids, and lures the raptors into the lab. He remembers Regis saying that there were powerful poisons in the lab, and he uses these to kill the 3 raptors.
Good.
I go into detail, but we need to keep going.
Yeah.
Gennaro and the kids reunite with Grant, and soon they are back in the control room, finding a way to turn on the power. Tim takes over and successfully turns on both the power and the safety measures of the lodge.
Way to go, Tim.
Yes, which in turn deals with the 2 raptors who were on the roof because they become fried. Tim is able to also find the number to the ship, which is just a few minutes away from docking in Punta Arenas, a village on the west coast of Costa Rica. Tim and Gennaro together command the ship to turn around. All is well.
Or is it? This is the ship that has the 2 juvenile velociraptors on it, right?
Yes.
Of course. Yeah.
Well,
I don't know. I don't know if all's well.
Well, folks, we're on the home stretch.
Buckle up. Also, for the count, for those wondering, dinos, 3, humans, 7.
Yes. 4 hours later, everything inside HQ is back up and running. Out of the 24 people on the island, 8 were killed. 6 are missing, which we all know they ain't missing.
Yeah, no, they're not missing.
The Costa Rican National Guard was on their way. Tim pulls up the count of dinosaurs. From the 292 animals at the start, it has gone down to 203.
Ugh.
Grant and Ellie suspect that the park, without any barriers and animals moving freely, is reaching equilibrium. Muldoon lets them know that the raptor nest must still be out there, and Grant and Ellie agree to go find it.
They are braver than I.
Oh, shit. Gennaro disagrees, mentioning that he's going to burn down this island and kill all the animals in it because it's just way too dangerous. Grant fights him on this, telling him he is part of the reason why this all happened, and it's their duty to finish what they started. Ellie deduces where the nest may be, and Grant, Muldoon, and Gennaro follow. They reach the area where Ellie believes the raptor nest to be, and find a 2-foot-wide rabbit hole, and are about to go inside when Gennaro again complains. At this point, Grant has had enough.
You made these animals,
he says.
You helped create them. You can't just kill them because you feel a little nervous now.
With that, they all jump in.
Oh, boy.
Let's go on and see what Hammond is doing, because he's been rather quiet.
Why? All right,
Yeah.
fine. Let's go back to the... All right.
He leaves a hallucinating Ian under the care of Harding and decides to go into the park, because it's all safe now. He's upset. He blames everything on Wu and Arnold. They just weren't right for the job. They ruined the park.
I can't believe
But
this
no
man.
problem. Hammond would create another one. A better one. He has dozens of embryos stored in InGen's vault back in the States. Lost in thought, he hears a T-Rex roar and panics, running, falling, and breaking an ankle in the process.
Of course.
Mind you, he's 80. He's like in his 80s.
Oh, that's true. He is a very old man.
Unbeknownst to him, the grandkids
Which he also blames for the park's failure. I mean, gee whiz, Grandpa.
are playing with the park intercom, so it's pretty funny that they are part of his death. He manages to sit by the jungle river and begins to shout for help. But a while passes, and Hammond decides he's just got to do it by himself. He got to go back to his bungalow. But he's tired. His ankle is broken, and he's hearing soft chittering.
Uh-oh.
He sees a compy staring at him a few feet away. distinctly remembering that while they're tiny, their bites are poisonous. He tries to swat it away, only to have them bite him. He slips and falls back down the hill. But at this point, the poison has done its job. He watches as the compy chews on his neck.
Dinos 4.
Which I will say, compies, as we remember, are supposed to be the maintenance.
Yeah.
Clearing out the shit of the park. They took out the biggest piece of shit in the whole park.
They're just doing their job, Hammond.
They're doing their job, bro. Fuck you, Hammond.
Oh, my gosh.
Grant, Gennaro, and Ellie are now inside the rabbit hole. They discover a tunnel that leads to a concrete cave with 3 adult raptors and over 30 baby raptors. Hello, 37 raptors. That's it.
No, thank you.
Within a few minutes of being there, they notice the raptors begin running down the cave, and they follow them. They reach the outside, where on the beach the whole colony of raptors looks out toward the ocean. The ship that had turned back around now in view. Ellie and Grant make another surprising discovery. They are trying to migrate. That would explain the raptors who went on the ship. And
Again,
why
they're just
ran
being
out.
animals.
Yes, and why they ran out when they heard the ship. Because they were going to jump on it.
Oh.
Almost immediately, they hear a helicopter, and the raptors quickly hide. The 3 of them get picked up by the Costa Rican National Guard and find Harding, Muldoon, and the kids inside. Grant asks about Hammond and Ian, learning they both didn't make it.
Oh.
They watch as the island gets bombed from above.
Oh, that was drastic.
The whole island going up in flames. One of the Coast Guard men asks Grant who's in charge, and he responds,
Nobody. Well, no point in keeping a body count now.
That's it. Humans won.
Yeah.
Or did they? Days later, Grant sits idly by a hotel resort pool, unable to leave the country. The government questions him and the survivors daily. He is approached by Dr. Gutierrez, the doctor at the beginning of this story who sent the compy remains for study. He tells Grant some startling news. There's been accounts of strange animals in rural areas eating the crops, specifically agama beans and soy, with the occasional chicken.
Weird.
Food rich in lysine,
Never
the
mind.
amino acid that Wu had made the animals deficient in.
Mm-hmm.
Grant already knows what this means and asks.
You're telling me we're not going anywhere?
Dr. Gutierrez only smiles.
None of us is going anywhere.
The freaking not end. Because
Oh my
there's
gosh.
a whole other book. You want me to discuss it?
Yenny, please? No, I think we've had enough dinosaurs for now.
I am so tired. You guys don't know. You guys have no idea.
It's a good thing we love Jurassic Park and this show.
Yes, because if there has ever been a thought of why, there has been 3 whys since the start of this show. Sinbad, The Odyssey, and Jurassic Park.
Why? Why did we do this? And guess what? We're not done.
No, not yet.
Dear listeners, fear not. We won't be spending quite as much time discussing the movie as we did discussing the book. The movie, after all, is a bit more well-known now, thanks to the movie-making magic of Mr. Stephen Spielberg, the father of the summer blockbuster. Why we're doing this series. And honestly, I'm not kidding. His film Jaws is what set the stage for the summertime movie mayhem, and the crowds clamored for more. Just like
Still
with
upset
dinosaurs.
that the park ride is out. Still
Right.
upset.
Right.
Still upset.
All right, so as if the book was not engaging enough, part of the staying power of the Jurassic Park film is the fact that it is an almost perfect blend of awe-inducing spectacle, action, terror, science fiction, and heart. It certainly has a more optimistic ending than the book.
Mm-hmm.
For the technical part, Spielberg worked with special effects genius Phil Tippett, who worked on Star Wars and RoboCop, and Jurassic Park combined practical effects with computer effects, pioneering the way for future films to utilize CGI. A bit ironic, seeing as how many people believe CGI is now destroying movies. But anyway, While the dinosaurs don't actually have much screen time, as you may think, roughly 15 minutes in a movie that's 2 hours long.
I thought that was crazy.
Right?
Because I was like mathing. I was like, what?
Right?
Yeah.
The camera holds on them. And in fact, the movie kind of follows the book. The T-Rex scene really happens right at the halfway point of the book, and the T-Rex scene happens at the halfway point of the movie. But we don't have to deal with shaky camera movement or strange angles in an effort to portray realism. Spielberg knew why the audience was watching the film, and he let the stars of the show have their spectacular moments. Now, Michael Crichton, the author of the book, wrote the screenplay for the film along with David Koepp, who wrote Stir of Echoes and Secret Window. While major changes were made from book to movie, the core principles and plot points are still there. And dang, did these two write a tight script that moves the movie forward.
Yes.
It was actually a lot of fun watching the movie right after reading the book and seeing how tightly the book was summarized in spots, and where the creative vision did change in other aspects of the movie.
Right, because we learned a little bit more about biosyn and biotechnology as a whole in the later series, specifically Jurassic World. That's when we really deep dive into all of the scientific aspect of it. Because in the first movie and even The Lost World, and I think the third one too, which I don't even talk about it, but they're all just dinosaur stuff. It's just dinosaur. And them trying to like survive. But afterwards in Jurassic World, we get like the actual explanations of it.
We get more of that world building. But what's nice about Jurassic Park, the film, is that we really don't even need that world building. The script is tightly written, the scenes are shot, you understand the characters and their motivations, and it's efficient and masterful. Do we know who Dotson is in the movie? No. Do we care? No. We know he's a bad guy because he's dealing with Nedry and giving him a lot of money to steal, IP. Do we know what InGen really is? No. We know it's a company, but it doesn't matter that we don't know much more than that. Our focus is fixed on the characters on screen in this strange and wonderful island. Another key part of the movie was the score, composed by the legendary John Williams. In the midst of the film's chaos and carnage, William composed not a theme of terror and anxiety, but a grand, sweeping, almost reverent melody that everyone still hums to this day. Exactly. Williams said that while composing the theme for Jurassic Park, he felt he needed to write pieces that would convey a sense of awe and fascination. And while he was trying to match the rhythmic gyrations of the dinosaurs, he wound up writing, and I quote, these kind of funny ballets, which I think is adorable.
Honestly, even hearing this music now, like I heard it when I watched the movie the other day, it gives me such like a sense
happy.
like I get teary-eyed because it was such a cult classic, and it really was for us because this film was in 95, so we got
93
to see this.
93. Yeah.
So we were born into the dinosaur world.
Yes. And I mean, and it's evolved. It was a huge success, so it had the chance to be more than a cult classic because it was a popular movie, and a lot of film critics and everything try to argue that, because it's popular and it's a popcorn movie, it can't be a great or perfect movie. Yes, it can. It's an action movie that's done well.
Yes.
But for all of us, the collective audience outside of the movie-making practice, why do we love Jurassic Park? Is it just for the dinosaurs? Well, I don't think so. Jurassic Park is a myth for a modern age. Myths and legends touch on our dreams, fears, aspirations, and existential dreads, which I think is all throughout Jurassic Park.
Yep.
If you were paying attention to Yinny's summation of Crichton's book, and if you noticed it in Spielberg's movie, the characters are constantly talking about, of all things, ethics. Chaos theory, history, capitalism, and unfettered idealism clash against each other over the merits of opening up this prehistoric zoo. Jurassic Park is the summation of mankind versus nature and mankind versus the unknown, and asks the age-old question,
what happens when man plays God?
And of course, the movie and book both give us the age-old answer.
Nothing good.
Correct.
Nothing.
Man playing God, no matter the technology, the control, or the level of power he has, will always fall victim to his own hubris by means of his creation. This has been true in stories from the beginning of myths, from golems to Frankenstein to velociraptors and Indominus Rex. And yet, despite knowing the outcome of these stories, we keep theorizing on how to make nature bend to our will, how to control it, just like what Wu and Hammond were doing in the book. Oh, we'll make version 4.4. Oh, we'll just open a bigger, better park. We can fix it. Science is the new magic, after all. Many people believe that what we collectively call magic is simply a series of natural occurrences that are not yet understood by science. Mankind not only wants to play with this magic, but control it, and obsesses over that magic, instead of thinking whether or not they should.
Thanks, Ian Malcolm, a.k.a. Jeff Goldblum.
Right.
Goldblum?
Goldblum. From the very start of the film, Jurassic Park, things are going wrong. Glitches with the cars, sickness with the Triceratops. Heck, in the movie, Alan Grant's seatbelts in the helicopter is wrong. It's 2 female ends that he has to make work for him, which also serves as a cunning visual teaser for what will soon be happening within the park. But nothing ever works perfectly, despite Hammond's insistence that it will. Eventually. There's even the simple but deadly mistake in the choice of decorative plants, which in the book are by the swimming pool where people will have access to them, and in the film are out in the open for the dinosaurs to eat.
You picked them because they look good, but these are aggressive living things that have no idea what century they're in, and they'll defend themselves, violent if necessary.
Ellie Sattler tells Hammond as they, once again, discuss the ethics of the park. Even the movie's comedic line of God makes man, man kills God, man makes dinosaur, dinosaur eats man, woman inherits the earth, foreshadows the eventual outcome for mankind and nature if the magic of science remains unchecked. But enough of my waxing poetic.
Oh, I could hear you go on.
Let's talk about the film characters for just a bit. Spielberg, the movie magician that he is,
No, I see what you did there.
knows the type of heroic journeys audiences want to see, and boy does he deliver. And we here at Story Sirens love to fixate on the little things.
Yeah.
So let's take a peek at some of those delightful movie details. The characters in Jurassic Park, the movie, and to an extent the book, but Yenny's had her time, each follow mythological/film archetypes. And Stephen Spielberg color codes them for us.
I will say, I just love it when you talk color theory to me.
It's so good. It's so good. So let's start with Alan Grant, the skeptic/reluctant hero. He primarily wears blue. He is the first male to enter the park, a kind of Adam. He also wears red accents for Ellie. He also becomes the more parental figure to the 2 kids, who at the start of the film he didn't really like, as opposed to the book where he's like all in for the kids. In fact, by the end of the movie, his shirt is so caked in mud, it almost looks pinkish. He and Ellie both subvert the gender stereotypes. So speaking of Ellie Slatter, she is the grounded idealist, or the voice of reason. She wears pink, the opposite of Grant, the first human female to enter the park, a kind of Eve in comparison to Alan's sort of Adam. She wears blue accents for Grant. Pink is often dismissed as a girly color, and Slatter proves she is intelligent, capable, and brave, shown by her wearing primarily blue by the end of the film because she kind of becomes the action hero of the film.
Yeah, she does.
This also makes a nice switch from the book where Ellie is pretty much just the pretty blonde bait. Ellie even comments on Hammond's sexism in the film when they're talking about who should go out to the control room, and he kind of says, oh, well, I should because I'm and you're a.
Yeah.
So that's kind of fun. John Hammond, the mad scientist/creator, who is replaced by Dr. Wu later in the film franchise. Now, first notably, in the movie, Hammond is not the villain. He is so obviously the villain in the book. But in the movie, he is a wayward idealist. He really is excited about what he can create. He wears primarily white because he is the godlike figure, the creator of monsters. In the film, he is the idealist, wanting to make something magical that people can see and touch, which makes white a perfect color choice for him. After all, he believes being present for the birth of every dinosaur so they can imprint on him will keep everyone safe. Again, misguided idealism.
And I would like to add that he is not only dressed in white, he never has anything to do with the dinosaurs throughout the movie or in the book until the end of the book that he gets bitten by the compies. But even in the movie, no dinosaur ever comes to him. He never gets hurt by them.
His detached.
Clothes stay white the whole time.
Yeah, everybody else has, they're losing layers of clothing, they're muddied, they're torn,
limbs.
They're ripped up. He loses his hat. That's about it. So while he is their creator, he is very detached from all of it.
Yes.
He is not having to go into the muck of his creation.
Mm-hmm.
Now, we have Ian Malcolm, a.k.a. Jeff Goldblum, because again, we're focusing on the movies. He is the trickster, the flirt, and the prophet of doom. He wears all black, a dark horse, a cynic, the opposite of Hammond. A disciple of chaos theory and someone who suffers from a deplorable excess of personality, he stands out against the earth tones of the world around him, allowing him to fall back and observe. And he is the loudest voice against Hammond throughout the books and the movie. He and Hammond do not like each other. So, of course, black and white.
Yes.
Now let's go to Robert Muldoon, the soldier. He wears entirely earth tones. He understands the risks of the park, having been there to observe the violence the dinosaurs are capable of, and he respects that. He believes that the park is too dangerous to be a functional attraction. He tries to protect each of the characters, including Hammond, from the oncoming disasters. He knows how cunning these creatures are.
They are intelligent in the film, but oh my gosh, are they so much smarter in the books. And of course, we cannot forget one of the most famous lines that ends up being a line that gets told in Jurassic World. Clever girl.
Lex Murphy, the ingenue. In the film, she is the older sibling. She wears purple, another girly color. But Lex saves the day with her tech brilliance because she knows how to operate the computers, unlike in the books. And it's a reminder to not underestimate her just because she's a little girl.
Mm-hmm.
Tim Murphy, the innocent. Tim Murphy's survival is actually vital to the movie plot, as it anchors the moral of the film, the survival of purity and goodness. They are the heirs of Hammond, and Lex demonstrates that she is already using his technology more ethically, while Tim has his grandfather's passion for the dinosaurs, but also has a greater first-hand understanding of their monstrosity. He's been around them. His grandfather hasn't. Tim wears earth tones to represent his understanding of the natural world, and blue. Tim idolizes Grant, and his outfit mirrors his heroes.
So cool.
Dennis Nedry, the agent of chaos / the traitor. He wears tropical prints and yellow. His printed shirts stand out in every scene he is in, perfect for his chaotic nature. And of course, yellow is the color of cowardice, and also a bright color that stands out in a rain-soaked jungle.
Yes.
Bye-bye, Nedry.
Bye. Which, by the way, in the movie, the dinosaur that is seen is very different from the dinosaur of the book. In the movie, the dinosaur is tiny and it gets into the car and obviously eats him there. While in the book, it's a 10-foot tall.
10 feet tall?
Yeah.
Oh my
so
gosh.
very, very different. But Sarah, you had explained to me before about the sizing.
Yes, there was a lot of
them.
debate at the time when the film was being made. Basically, is it the Dilophosaurus?
Mm-hmm, the Dilophosaurus, yeah.
Their sizes were kind of swapped for the movie, and there were paleontologists saying, the velociraptors aren't that big. They're a little bit more compact.
Mm-hmm.
They're a little bit smaller. And Crichton and Spielberg were both going, we want big velociraptors. We're going to have big velociraptors. And shortly after the movie came out, large velociraptor skeletons were discovered.
Which
Vindication!
Is terrifying. Yeah, but also terrifying.
Terrifying. All right. Ray Arnold, Samuel L. Jackson.
Woo.
The sacrifice or the martyr. He wears black and white. He is science, rationality, and structure over chaos, while still optimistic that control can be maintained. He's more realistic about the bugs and the glitches that are going on in the park,
Right.
but he's trying to fix them. He tries to keep the system together to keep everyone safe, and is killed in the process. Donald Gennaro, the Fool, film version. He wears gray, which shows his approval of the godlike figure while having a singular focus on earthly values, i.e., money. He is also in a suit when everyone else is in less restrictive clothing that better suits the park. Even though his suit has shorts, it's still, He is focused solely on profit, is consumed by that profit,
Literally.
and is the catalyst for the audience to see that this is no longer a fun theme park ride. Now, film Gennaro, as we've already established, is much more of a slimy worm than book Gennaro. Book Gennaro is large, muscular, likes kids, and is honestly worried about what he and his law firm have allowed to be created. Gennaro is a complicated character in the book. In the film, he's the
Absolutely.
first death. We're glad to see him go.
Oh, yeah.
And finally, Dr. Henry Wu, the apprentice. He wears a white lab coat, following science and creation. And as Dr. Wu's role evolves throughout the film franchise, because, he's not killed off in the first movie, he becomes more of the mad scientist character, a bit more reminiscent of Book Hammond than film Hammond. Whereas where Book Hammond is so fixated on the money, Movie Wu is so fixated on the science. He doesn't care about
Right.
Malcolm's whole, you were so focused on whether or not you could, you didn't focus on whether or not you should. He's like, if I can do it, I'm gonna do it.
Exactly. And also, Ed Regis is not in the films,
Yeah.
but he takes over as half of Gennaro.
Yeah, they kind of apply Ed Regis's book character to Gennaro, again, with the whole consolidation of the book into a 2-hour movie.
Yes.
And, of course, let's not forget that Isla Nublar is itself an almost mythical island for the purposes of the plot. It's separate from the rest of the world and almost unreachable by common man, and supposedly inescapable for its resident dinos. But we know better.
We definitely know better.
As a final talking point, do you want to talk about Jurassic Park's total dependence on automation? Both in
Let's
the
do
book
it.
and the movie, Hammond believes that automation will save money and ensure control over the park. This feels rather relevant in our current age of AI and growing technologies. Jurassic Park truly is a modern myth for a modern age, and I hate that!
I know, but it's such a good book.
It is so good. But yes, throughout the book and the movie, just we spared no expense and we can do this with the computers and it can be fully automated. What is it? At one point they say they only need 3 people in the control room for 230 dinosaurs, among other features of the park. I'm just like, this is no.
Which, by the way, another part about it, just to add on to this, in the book it talks about where they really only need 20 people to man the whole park because everything else is based on technology.
Yes.
The tech will take care of the rest. I just need 20 humans to help little by little with 230-something species. You can see where the problem lies.
It makes me really love in the film when Hammond is having his ice cream conversation, because they kept that element consistent, but he's having his ice cream conversation with Ellie, and she just says, it's all an illusion. The control, the power, it is all an illusion. Now, before we go into our modern media and our siren call, we've had a lot of violence. We've had a lot of existential dread. Let's have a couple of fun facts about the 1993 movie. Kevin Costner, Mel Gibson, and Robin Williams, among others, were all considered for the role of Alan Grant before Sam Neill was hired. Could you imagine Robin Williams as Sam Neill?
I think he would do.
I think he would do a great job. He does great drama, but there's a part of me that's just like, that dynamic would change so much.
I think Mel would have been a good option too.
Same.
But Sam Neill takes the cake.
Absolutely. Renee Zellweger, Nicole Kidman, and Sigourney Weaver were all considered for the role of Ellie Sattler before Laura Dern took on the role. Again,
Sigourney would have done
Sigourney
great.
Weaver just like escaping aliens left and right and monsters.
And dinosaurs.
Aliens,
Let her
dinosaurs,
rest.
like let's give her all of the dangers. Clint Eastwood was initially considered to play the role of John Hammond, who wound up being played by Richard Attenborough.
Yeah, that's weird.
Right? Oh, it gets better. Jim Carrey and Johnny Depp were considered for the role of Ian Malcolm.
Yeah, well, hold on a second, because, well, Jim Carrey is not the sexiness of Jeff Goldblum. I think he would have done it
Again, a
really
great
well.
dramatic actor. He is a great dramatic actor. But
Yeah,
again,
Johnny Depp, though.
Again, it just changes the whole dynamic of the movie, I think. Because honestly, I believe only Jeff Goldblum could play that role. I love it.
For sure.
Now, film production was held up by Hurricane Iniki. The shots in the movie of stormy waves crashing against the coast are shots of the actual storm blowing in.
No way.
The crew arranged for some relief money to be sent to Kauai near where they had been filming because the hurricane decimated the area.
Oh, that's nice.
Right? Hollywood began bidding for movie rights to Jurassic Park before it was even published.
Wow.
Directors who were interested in the movie included James Cameron and Tim Burton.
I don't know about Tim Burton,
right?
But
thank goodness
isn't
for
that
Steven
fabulous?
Spielberg.
I mean, I will say, the book is so well written, and Michael Crichton, I mean, how could you even think? Like, how do you come up with the idea, amber, insects, pulling the blood? Yeah,
Michael Crichton was brilliant, and we'll talk about him here in
that-
just a second, but he was a brilliant person. I mean, he had his degree in medical science, and didn't go into the medical industry, but he was like, this is going to be great for my writing. And he was an obsessive writer and workaholic, but I'm getting ahead of myself. The T-Rex's roar was made using a mix of a dog bark, penguins, tigers snarling, alligators gurgle, and a baby elephant's squeal.
Wow.
Right? And speaking of the T-Rex, sometimes the animatronic would malfunction. Saying, thanks to the rain it was being filmed in. This seems very apropos for the entire theme of the movie. Crew members would be on break or having lunch, and the animatronic would randomly move.
Oh!
The team figured out what was happening eventually, but not before a few people screamed in absolute terror.
Shit, so would I.
Right? And finally, I just want to share how impressive Michael Crichton's body of work is. His books include The Andromeda Strain, Eaters of the Dead, which is better known as The 13th Warrior, and Timeline, all of which were turned into movies. And he was the director and writer for the film Westworld, a writer for the film Twister, and a producer for the film version of The 13th Warrior, which would actually be a really fun one to cover on this podcast. We can cover it in our Beowulf episode.
Yeah.
And of course, he was a writer and producer for the legendary TV drama ER.
ER.
His books have sold over 200 million copies worldwide. Many of his movies have been absolute successes, and his work has inspired decades of writers, directors, and artists of all ages. Crichton passed away in 2008, and we thank him for his work.
May he rest in peace. Now, modern media, because I know, guys, we gotta cut this.
We gotta get it.
You gotta know we're gonna talk about Jurassic Park and World films, but
Of
also
course.
the Camp Cretaceous shows. Let me tell you something. Camp Cretaceous starts as a kid's thing, but dude, it's pretty dang good. I'm
so
really,
excited to
really
watch
love
it.
The Jurassic Park book series, which includes Crichton's Jurassic Park and The Lost World, the Jurassic Park Adventure Trilogy by Scott Siensen, The Evolution of Claire by Tess Sharp, and The Maisie Lockwood Adventures by Tess Sharp as well. And of course, The Land Before Time.
God, that's such a good one.
Come on
That
now.
was so good. All right, and here is your siren call, as if you're not already tired of hearing us talk. Want a fun time? Get the family together with some popcorn and watch the 1993 classic Jurassic Park. Want a less fun time? Go to your local bookstore or library and pick up a copy of Michael Crichton's Jurassic Park. It will leave you delightfully traumatized.
It's really, really good.
Let us know what you think of the film and or book in our public Discord server, linked in the show notes. We'd love to discuss it with you because we obviously have not had enough of dinosaurs. Thank you for sticking with us for this gargantuan episode. but our wonderfully terrible dinosaurs deserve nothing less.
Nothing less.
See you next week for more mythical movie mayhem. Bye!
Thanks for listening to Story Sirens. You can follow us on Instagram at Story Sirens Podcast. Want to support us? Send us a cup of Ko-fi by searching ko-fi.com/storysirens. We've got lots of treats for those who become siren seekers. All research materials can be found in the episode summary. Music by Donald Guzzi and artwork by Alexis Torres. Story Sirens is a Feather and Fin production. See you soon.